Now, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Miss Dawn McKee and Shazia Rogers.
Hey, everybody. Did you have a good lunch? Awesome. You had an amazing afternoon planned for you as we're going to get jumping into some finishing. So while they're bringing up our trays, we've got Faye coming to the stage. We want to be able to share you these beautiful finishes on our color. And when we take a look at what finishing is, just out of curiosity, anybody out there take a flawless finishing class with me? Oh, I don't see that many hands. That means we need some more to get it on that flawless finishing. So we're going to be taking you through Renew Collection finishing today, but with flawless finishing, imagine
these ones are Dawn's.
That you have a gift for a best friend and you wrap it beautifully, right? Got it? How about a meal that you've worked really hard to present to your family and you've set the table all beautiful and everything is all perfect? Anybody been there?
I'll plug that in.
Every Christmas, my husband says, "Are you going to set the table?" And I said, "Did you forget I did it last year?" Because it's a big deal in our house. So, but what I want you to think about is think about the cut, the color, whichever texture services you may have done, and think about what that finish is going to look like and how it's going to decorate that haircut, right? Little things don't mean a lot, mean everything. They mean everything. And we get busy in the salon and we forget all about that little bit of finishing at the very end. Sometimes we get going and all of a sudden the blow just becomes this. Anybody been there? Well, I want you to go, when this is all over, I want you to go back in your salon with a new mindset, and I want you to think of those cut and colors as your magnificent work, just as what we created here. And so as we get into our finishing, I'm going to share with you what we have done just to get these prepped. So with that, we both are starting here with our blowout primer. Now, the blowout primer, I call this my double-sided sticky tape. It's the stuff that makes everything else work 10 times better, 30 times better. And what it's going to do is it's going to prepare that hair for your brushwork. So if you're into blowouts, this is going to be absolutely amazing. This is where all your memory comes from. The next thing that we did is we applied our blowout foam. And it's called memory foam for a reason, because its main purpose is to give you a ton of memory. So if you're a brush worker, you're going to absolutely love the memory foam. So from there, we're both actually going to be working on a similar technique because it's all about renew and unleashed finishing. You're going to see beautiful texture. And what we're going to do is we've all pre-sectioned and blow-dried the hair already to 80%. Did you know the hair has zero memory until it's blow-dried to 80%? Did you know that when you stretch that hair when it's wet, you can actually cause damage to it, whether it's curly or it's a smooth straight to begin with? So we want to take that hair to 80% dry, and then from there we can start working with our primer again and go into our brush work. So with that, that also means that we can work to be able to create that long-lasting memory. So I'm going to shoot it over to Shazia, and she's going to show you what she's doing and how she's getting started, and I'm going to get working on mine, and then we'll get moving.
Thank you, Dawn. I don't know about you guys, but I love to blow dry with a ton of volume. Sometimes when I do my windswept cuts, I can get it a little bit too structured. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but this is a really great technique that is going to enhance those concave layers that Wayne created this morning. So what we did is we blow dried about 70% of the way. We're going to take our iron in, and Dawn's going to be doing the same technique on longer hair, so you guys can see it over there as well. We're going to come in and blow dry the roots and really get them nice and heated up. We're going to flip our blow dryer and blow dry underneath. So we're creating a lot of volume right at that base. Then once we get it heated up underneath, we're going to lay that hair on our blow dryer, let it set for a minute and cool down. Take your brush from the top, flip it, and blow dry this way. Once you let it out and let it cool a little bit, you'll twist it and then just allow it to cool like that. Once we get the bottom layer done, we'll just move right up the head and we'll have a ton of different texture and volume, and we'll be able to really see those concave layers. So back to you, Dawn, for your sectioning on the same technique that we're doing.
Awesome. Thanks, Shazia. So what we're doing here is we are actually working on base because we want maximum volume. We're working with the same brush technique, and I'm working with 2 size brushes. So I'm getting lift and volume at the root, and then I'm going to catch it over the top and flip it the opposite direction, and a twist and release over the top. I have it sectioned in 3 horizontal sections now that I am at my 80% blow dry, or 80% dry. And what I'm using here now is working with our dry oil spray. So this is our dry oil conditioner. It's going to add a ton of shine to it, as well as it's going to help add that additional slip I want through the ends. And Amy has texture in her hair. So as I'm working with it, we're going to be able to control that very easily. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to show you a few techniques here. So I'm using the barrel of my blow dryer. I'm hovering my nozzle over the hairbrush, so I'm never resting that brush on top of the hair. And just out of curiosity, I want to know, how many of you use your nozzles? Ooh, a good portion of you. Awesome. So you've been listening. I love it. Are there anyone out there that never use it? Well, you don't have to raise your hand, but if you're one that maybe you don't use it because it doesn't fit in the hole in the station, just checking. I was like that for a long time, but I realized they have a huge importance. We need them because it helps to direct the airflow. So it helps to control the hair, and it helps to be able to create the texture and the motion that we want. So once I get that rounded with my large brush, so I'm on my 3-inch, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop, and now I'm catching the hair in the opposite direction. So as I start to work the brush, I'm heating that up. I'm always keeping my brush moving as I'm going, so I'm never letting go. I'll let it cool off. It's also allowing this to get that cool that it needs. And then I'm going to hold my barrel, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twist that off that way. So we're doing an on base. We're getting our lift at the scalp area. We're going to go ahead and work our nozzle to be able to help support and direct the hair. And as I start to get it where I need to, if you've ever been one that feels like you get the hair stuck around the brush, as soon as you feel it tugging, let go. Put it back on your brush and comb it through. Over the top, let it rest, pick it back up again. Keep something moving, whether it's your blow dryer moving or your brush, because you don't want to create any hot spots. And whether you choose a smaller brush, or in that case, you could have used the same size brush, now I'm flipping it over the opposite direction. So I want that to go up so that we get that unleashed finishing. So I'll do one more for you before I pass it over to Shazia. And we're just going to go back here. Again, I'm using my dry oil conditioner. So this is going to protect again, help with the smoothing, and it's going to help really set that memory in for me. And with Amy's texture, this is important because I want to make my life easier. I want to work smarter, not harder. So I'll catch it. I'm going to catch it with my opposite brush. And now I'm going to go ahead and roll it up the opposite way. Now, if you're working this technique on someone who has a lot shorter hair, feel free to work a flat brush underneath or a simple round brushing, and then just use the very top section as your veil and work that technique over the top. You like this? Is it good? All right, so let's pass it over back to Shazia, and she's going to share where she's at there.
So you guys can see how much movement is already going on in this blow dry. And I just wanted to show you before I take down my last section, we're not gonna run our hands through it until everything's cooled off because we don't wanna cause any frizz within the hair. So right now I'm just letting it cool. I'll take down my next section, do the same exact technique, and then we'll be able to go in and do some dry cutting. With that, I would love to welcome Wayne Grunn back to the stage for some detailing on these beautiful haircuts.
All right. There he is.
Let me have a look here. You're making me look good, Shaz. Shaz, I'm going to get you to take that completely dry for me, and then I'm going to come in and do some dry detailing. And I'm sorry, but she was gone to lunch, and she missed her cue for her blow dry. So she just dried naturally backstage. I don't know if anybody can remember this, probably 30 years ago in the industry. Does anybody ever forget a guest under the dryer? Just asking. I'm back in the 80s when you do the jaw clamps after the perm, and you're like 5 minutes on the way home going, shit, Sally's under the dryer. So anyway, she liked it drying naturally, and I said, well, let's just see if the haircut can really do all the work for you. But it couldn't do all the work, so I had to get some texture paste. Because what this is, it gives me just like a clay or a putty that I can work and form and shape with. So at this point, let's just go and see what we can do with a little bit of texture paste and a little bit more. Remember that frame that we cut on the top, you guys? We'll start to see our concave layer come out right away. And she's definitely going to be using the dry foam shampoo at home. So she needs, my favorite is the dry oil. And sometimes innovation becomes a challenge because it's like, when do you use this? My dry oil spray now also becomes not only a shining product, but it's a detailing product, and it gives her hair daily UV protection and condition. Now, how long did Sally here's haircut take us to do? You guys remember? Was it maybe about 7-8 minutes? The reason was I knew exactly where I was going before I began. I'll recap it very quickly for you. The haircut began in the back, and it was cut in 3 sections. There was an arc, knuckles to the head, shatter in and out. Remember these 2 red zone corners, which are sparser? See how I've got that corner? The only reason I've got that corner is because I did not walk around my haircut. If you walk around your haircut, you'll take those corners off, and that's what gives you that gap. So by over-directing that red zone back to me, yeah, bring it up, Randy, awesome. By over-directing this back into the middle, I can keep the corner. 1, 2, 3, done. We then sectioned on top of that, and instead of cutting diagonally, I wanted that arc to start happening. So again, it was the temple 1, temple 2, 3 sections in the back. How important is this corner? Have you guys ever done an OSHA haircut? That's when you take that last swoop and your little voice goes, oh shit, not done that. See, what happens is when I'm in this corner here, I have to pre-evaluate that red zone, and that's where that hand came away. Again, if the ceiling ever, the tile opened up and somebody said, why are you doing that? You should know. This has not been blow dried. This just dried naturally. And look at the lift that she's got in her crown from that little bit of framework that we did. And then ultimately, texture paste and the dry oil spray. Oh, no, one more. So then, go to the back and get the firm blowout spray. Hey, secret. You didn't hear me, did you? Anybody been checking out some of the white bottles back there? The lab samples? Sally was too. You get your fingers in there a little bit. John, you want to share anything you've got going on there while we're waiting for that little special treat to come from the back?
Yes, absolutely. So as we are working through this, I'm continuing with that same technique. And again, you can see how quickly I'm working. That's the blowout system working faster for me because it's allowing that hair to dry quicker and get that memory in there quicker. But it's also allowing me to, when I blow dry that hair to 80% dry first, that's the key, really allowing that hair to get to a point where it can accept that memory. So we're continuing to work through this. I've got just 2 more sections, all yours.
Awesome. Shazia, oh, you're almost ready for me there. You can dress out a little bit, and I'll come back and see you in just a second. No, I need to come right now. But you got to hang on to this one. And I need my dry oil spray. I see more dry cutting and detailing than in a number of years. When you're dry cutting, the very first thing I ask you to mist onto your hair is your dry oil spray. The reason is it gives either your scissor for your dry cutting or it gives your razor the ability to slip through the hair very nicely. So at this point now, we'll mist the dry oil spray. And here's where I want to come in with some dressing to it. So for separation at my cheekbone, and I'll weave in, and I'll weave out, weave in, weave out in one nice, soft, long stroke. And when she'll take her hand through there, she can really get some nice piecing and detailing into those pieces. And even with the hair dry, with the dry oil spray onto it, it just gives me the beautiful slip right where I want separation. Little things don't mean a lot, they mean everything. One of the most important times when I'm engaging with a guest is to tell them what I'm doing and why. I want them to understand what we're doing, and I want a little more separation in the back here too. So I'll just take the tip of the razor and work it through. Work it through, work it through. So when the guest goes out for a glass of wine or a coffee or wherever it may be, and her friend goes, I love those ends and how they're just so nice and soft around the face. She can say, you know what my stylist does is he uses a technique with a dry oil spray so that he can actually dry cut and detail. And he uses a technique called weave cutting to go through. So now I have an educated guest, and Shazia keep making me look good there. And let's bring her back over here. Because remember when we said about the personality, she said she wanted to turn ahead. In about 30 minutes, you're going to learn a whole bunch more about the why behind blowout. But let me just see what the firm spray can do. The thing that I love about the firm spray is it gives me long-term style memory without having to have any stiffness to it. So now, without even having to use a tool, look at the definition that we've got. And I can guarantee you, she can sleep on this. Wake up in the morning, work with some more dry oil spray, and dress it right back out again. Awesome. Thank you. Dawn, ready for some final detailing?
Yep, I am. Go for it.
And you've been working with the dry oil spray. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, I love the fullness that we've got. Ooh, yeah. Look at that depth.
What do you guys think about that color? Beautiful, right? That would be our 7R and a little bit of 7C over that. So just so you know. Looks amazing.
I want to give these ends even more lift. So remember what we were doing in that concave motion? Concave in, lift out. That concave in creates a belly so that when she moves that hair, it just lifts up for her. Ladies, all yours to share with them your final magic.
Awesome. Thanks, Wayne. All right, you guys. First of all, the beautiful colors. We have our 7R, a little bit of 7C as that overlay. Shazia has the 7C straight over that. Absolutely beautiful just to be able to give that last bit of glaze and shine. From here, you guys, did you like that brush technique? Yeah? All right, you're going to go back and try it when you get back to the salon? So one little hot tip there is that we can go back in and make sure that if you have time to clip your work, this would be even fuller and even curlier if I let it set. But I want to take you into a little bit of our Renew ponytail. So what we're going to be doing here is a very quick and easy updo, and I want you to use this technique and then take it to your imagination. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out just the hair in front of the ear. I'm going to work with our texture spray because this will give me some beautiful lift right at the root area. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and take out one elastic, and I'm just carving out the crown area, which we refer to as our black zone. And we're going to go ahead and create that little bit of that bump in the back. We're going to go ahead and pull those edges where that dry oil spray is going to come in really handy. And then we're going to go ahead and take two elastics. So the first one is going to sit right at the base here. It's going to go just 2 times around. We're going to go ahead and cinch that elastic a little bit. So it just gives us that little bit of a bump. I'm then going to take a second elastic and put it right below it. And then we're going to clip this hair out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take and create another ponytail below it. We're going to create some beautiful fullness. So with that, I'll go ahead and clip this up out of my way. We're going to go ahead and take that ponytail just with my hands. I want lots of texture. And anytime you'll notice that as we're working with dry oil spray, I'm working with my Basu oil. What this is going to be doing for me is keeping the hair with its moisture. Every time I touch that hair, dry hands, now I'm working and I'm taking that moisture right out. So I want to help continue making that moisture stay in the hair. So I'm just giving extra protection by making sure that my hands are not dry. We're going to take the ponytail. We're going to go ahead and create a nice little space in between. We're going to go ahead and take that ponytail right over the top. We're going to cinch the elastic below. That way I can get my nice bump here. And we'll give a nice quick pin. And then I'm going to be twisting these over to create that beautiful and giving a little bit of added fluff. So I'm going to turn it over to Shazia because she's got one last little technique she wants to share.
Yes, the way we finished this, just to mix it up a little bit, is we went in with an iron and just on the surface layers, we went in and created a little bit of volume and a little bit of texture in there. Let it set for a minute, and we finished it with a little bit of the dry oil spray, and you guys probably saw some airlift going in there too for a little bit of extra volume. But look at this color and how much that dry oil spray really makes it stand out. It's beautiful, and it's a great color for the fall, perfect for our beautiful model.
All right.
Back to you, Miss John.
Awesome. So I'm just taking these last little bits and going and finding where I want that hair to fall out naturally. And I'm letting that hair just twist right over the top. we're gonna go ahead and give a quick pinning to it. So I always like to take the back side of the foot and then go ahead and flip it over. So the grip side should always end up facing the scalp area. That is where you're gonna have your most hold to it. And with that, we can start giving that a little bit of a fluff. We're gonna use our texture spray just to give some extra volume. And then my secret and my favorite thing to actually start expanding the hair with is my dry oil spray. Because remember I shared with you just a bit ago how it's so important to maintain that moisture. The dry oil spray is maintaining the moisture deep in the cortex, and I'm helping it along also by not drying the hair out with my hands. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and give that final fluff. And there we go, we have the Renew ponytail. What do you guys think? Awesome. And you can be creative with that and do multiple ponytails with it, create a mohawk. Use your imagination. All right, so what do you guys think? Love the flawless finishing, Renew, amazing. Thank you, Shazia and Wayne. And I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna take these capes off so you can see these beautiful ladies as they walk up front.
Love.